Hey guys, Brad Danger here, and today we are breaking down 5 of the most ideal American sleeper cars that you need to know about. These are the under-the-radar rides packing a serious punch without the fame. Yes, we are starting strong with the big, bad sedan that shocked everyone, the Mercury Marauder. On the surface, it looked like grandma's comfy cruiser or an unmarked cop car, basically a 2003 Mercury Grand Marquis in a black suit, but underneath, it had some serious muscle. Ford took their Panther platform, same as the Crown Vic, and hot-rodded it by dropping in the Mustang Mach-1's 4.6-liter DOHC-V8, making 302 horsepower. Car and driver joked that hot-rodding a Grand Marquis is a little like making bourbon out of Geritol. But they also admitted the Marauder was firm, flat, stable, composed, with surprisingly great handling for such a large barge. In other words, it's a neat sleeper sedan. Not the quickest thing out there, but more than fast enough to have fun with. 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7.5 seconds, and a quarter mile in 15.5 may not sound mind-blowing today, but in the early 2000s, it was respectable for a 4-door land yacht. And the cool factor was off the charts, especially in black. A Marauder basically makes you look like an FBI agent on a secret mission. Only around 11,000 Marauders were built since mid-2000s. Mercury had a hard time convincing buyers to pick a performance car from the old folks brand. Their loss, because this thing is an absolute unit. The best part, you can snag a used Marauder for the price of a beater. Seriously, the lowest recorded sale was about $5,500 for a 2003 model in recent years. That is a ton of V8 sedan swagger for Honda Civic money. Okay, and real quick, if you're hunting for a deal on cool cars like these, well, check out AutoTempest. I've linked to all of them in the pinned first comment down below. It searches all the major used car sites at once, so you can find the best bargains on sleepers and more. Click down below and also go to winthisIdealCar.com to get entered for free to win the car that we're giving away. Yes, next up we have a heavyweight from Detroit. Meet the Chevy Cobalt SS Turbo, a little econo coupe that nobody saw coming as a performance threat. And yet, they should have, because the regular Cobalt was rental car fare, but the SS version, especially the 2008 to 2010 turbocharged model, was a total monster in disguise. Under the hood, it packed a 2.0-liter turbocharged Ecotec 4-cylinder with 260 horsepower and 260 pounds-feet, routed to the front wheels. Doesn't sound like much? Well, this thing was freakishly good at going fast. Journalists at the time were shocked. One review said the 2009 Cobalt SS Turbo is freakishly good at going fast and the best bang for the buck value below $30,000. With a 5-speed manual and even a no-lift shift feature from the factory, the Cobalt SS could rip 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds and nail the quarter mile in the low 14s. It didn't just have straight-line speed either. Chevy had tuned it on the Nürburgring, and it famously outran more expensive sports cars in car and driver's lightning lap competition, even beating an Evo X around the track. Not bad for a car that on the outside looked like a Chevy compact with a big wing and some cheap plastic interior bits. In fact, Ron Kino of Motor Trend quipped that at only $22,995, the SS could stand for super steel. That tells you how much performance you got for the money. And if you wanted more, the Turbo Ecotec responded really well to mods. Simple tunes and bolt-ons could push it well over 300 horsepower. The Cobalt SS is the very definition of a sleeper. It humbled cars twice its price, but to the uninitiated, it was just another Cobalt. And today, it's even more of a steal. These go for crazy cheap. We're talking as low as around $3,900 for an SS Coupe at auction. One sold in 2024 for under $4,000. That is an absurd bargain for a car that can embarrass Mustangs on a drag strip and WRXs on a road course. Cheap, fast, and under the radar. That's a sleeper done right. Guys, real quick, Rocky from New York already drove off with the first GTR and the bonus cash that changed his life. We literally flew him out here. He hung out with us for the whole weekend. We shipped his car back home to New York, and the dude had the time of his life. It genuinely changed everything for him, and now it's your turn. If you want a shot at winning your dream car plus bonus cash, hit the link in the pinned first comment right now. Now, back to the show. Okay, but let's switch gears a little bit, because how about a sleeper that's not a car at all? Time to talk about the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8 that looks oh so good. A vehicle that proves even an SUV can be a stealth performance machine. At a glance, it's a Grand Cherokee, a family 4x4 you'd see at the shopping mall. But the SRT8 version was basically a hot rod on stilts. Jeep's SRT team took the midsize SUV and stuffed a 6.1-liter Hemi V8 under the hood, pumping out 420 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque to all four wheels. They lowered the suspension, beefed up the brakes, and gave it subtle cues like big 20-inch wheels and dual-center exhausts, but nothing too loud. It still looked oddly restrained for what it could do. And what it could do was astonishing in 2006, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.6 seconds, and the quarter mile in about 13.2 seconds at 104 miles per hour. Those were supercar numbers for the time, especially for a 4,800-pound brick that can haul your groceries. In fact, Road and Track clocked it quicker to 60 than a Porsche Cayman S and noted, "Those are sports car numbers for the quarter mile." Imagine the faces of Corvette owners getting smoked by a Jeep at a stoplight. The SRT8 achieved this with an AWD launch that literally rips all four tires, and it even handles far better than any SUV should. Stiffer springs, Bilstein shocks, and performance tires made it corner more like a muscle car than a truck. The only giveaway was that aggressive stance and maybe a snarling exhaust note. Otherwise, to most people, it was just another Jeep Grand Cherokee rolling by, until it blew past you. These first-gen WKSRT8s were relatively limited in production and have a bit of a cult following now, but they're still a hell of a bargain for what you get. How does buying a 420 horsepower super SUV for around 10 grand sound? Believe it. The lowest ones have sold for just about $10,100 for a 2008 model in early 2024. That's a steal for a truck that can run with Porsche SUVs and BMW M cars of its era. Just be prepared for the thirst. The joke was, it's quicker through gas than a Viper, and that Hemi will drain your tank with a smile. Small price to pay for a 4x4 that serves sleeper status on the streets. Okay, you guys have all heard of the Cadillac STS-V, am I right? But what if I told you that Cadillac made another V8 bruiser, super sedan in the 2000s that almost nobody remembers? Enter the Cadillac STS-V, the ultimate sleeper in Cadillac's lineup. Never heard of. The STS was Caddy's luxury sedan, and the V version was its under-the-radar badass cousin. It came from the factory with a 4.4-liter supercharged Northstar 5.8, cranking out 469 horsepower and 439 pound-feet, backed by a heavy-duty 6-speed automatic. This was Cadillac's answer to the BMW M5 and Mercedes E55 AMG of its day, and on paper, it had the goods. 0 to 60 around 4.6 seconds, quarter mile in the low 13s, and a top speed near 170 miles per hour. And yet, the STS-V flew completely under the radar. Why? Well, it looked restrained, no boy racer wings or scoops, just a slightly meshier grille, some vents, and classy 18-inch wheels. To an untrained eye, it was just another plush Cadillac your rich uncle might drive. Meanwhile, it could smoke tires and surprise the heck out of Camaro SS drivers. The STS-V was also rare. Caddy didn't advertise it much, and it was expensive when new, over $75 grand. So only about 2,500 were ever made. It ended up overshadowed by the smaller CTS-V, which got more hype, but that just makes the STS-V an even juicier sleeper now. Imagine a big, comfy American sedan with cooled leather seats and a Bose sound system that just happens to have a hand-built supercharged V8 under the hood. It wafts like a luxury car until you floor it and unleash a stealth rocket. And get this, they are absurdly cheap now. The STS-V might be one of the biggest performance bargains on the used market. The lowest recorded sale for one was only $4,400 for a 2006 model sold in 2025. No, that's not missing a zero. We're talking well under $5 grand for a 470 horsepower executive super sedan. Even nice examples often trade in the low teens, which is still a fraction of what comparable German sedans cost. A true hidden gem for sure. If you roll up in an STS-V, most people won't have a clue what it is, until you blow their doors off in silence and comfort. This is a sleeper that wears a three-piece suit and packs a knuckle sandwich. And now for our ultimate curveball. And if you're a curveball hitter, then you probably heard of it. And you might actually need to sit down for this one if you're not already. The Chrysler PT Cruiser GT. Yes, seriously, the cutesy retro-styled little wagon that everybody loved to hate actually had a turbocharged GT performance model. And it was way quicker than anybody expected. The PT Cruiser GT took the same engine from the neon SRT4 pocket rocket and plopped it into a cartoonish mini panel van body. That means a 2.4-liter turbocharged i4, making 215 horsepower, later 230, and 245 pound-feet of torque, often paired with a 5-speed manual. Sounds hilariously mismatched, right? It was, but it also turned the PT into a genuine sleeper. Car and driver clocked a 2006 PT Cruiser GT, 230 horsepower version, 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds and through the quarter mile in 15.4 seconds. That's solidly hot hatch territory, by say basically as quick as a VW GTI of the era. And with a few mods, since that engine is the same as the SRT4, the aftermarket knows it well, you could easily be running high 5-second 0 to 60s and surprising a lot of serious sports cars. The hilarious part is nobody suspects a PT Cruiser of being fast. The GT model had a discreet 2.4 turbo badge and maybe larger wheels, but it still looked like a retro throwback wagon more suited to hauling cupcakes than hauling ass. Most people wouldn't be caught dead racing one, which is exactly why it's the perfect sleeper. You roll up in this faux 1950s looking car, maybe with wood panels if you're extra spicy, and then you dust someone who underestimated you. It's the automotive equivalent of a sucker punch. Of course, the PT Cruiser never got much respect, and even the GT couldn't shake the car's corny image. Let's be honest, it's kind of the goofy uncle of modern cars. But that just means you can buy them for pennies now. A turbo PT is dirt cheap fun. We're talking around $3,000 to $5,000 in the real world for a decent one. And unlike most cars on this list, many PTs were owned by, let's say, gentle drivers. So you might even find one that isn't beat to heck. Love it or laugh at it, the PT GT earns this #1 spot because it defines sleeper. It's a car nobody suspects with performance nobody saw coming. If you show up to a meet in a PT Cruiser GT and pop the hood to reveal that turbo, you will shock people. Some might high-five you, others might question your sanity, but none can deny it's one heck of a sleeper. So there you have it, 5 American sleepers that prove that you can't judge a book by its cover or a car by its badge. Each of these rides delivers way more performance than they looks imply, and they're all epic ways to have fun on the cheap. So which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments, and did we miss any other sleepers that you think deserve a spot on this ideal list? Drop them in there as well. And remember, go to AutoTempest in the pin for comment, and go to Win This Ideal Car to get entered for free to win my dream car. Also, if you enjoyed the vid, like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and check out some of these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad Danger. This is Ideal. We'll catch you next weekend. Promise me one thing. Keep living the Ideal lifestyle.